Hello, the Pioneer viewers. The Russia-Ukraine war remains on our agenda. The war continues on the front line in all its reality. The parties are organizing operations to increase their gains while conducting mutual attacks. In this intense and challenging period, an incredible shadow war is being waged in the background of the conflict. The Ukrainian army continues its plans to liberate its country from the Russian occupation. In times of war, intelligence work is utmost importance. The best way to infiltrate enemy lines and obtain important information is to have a strong intelligence organization. Another important factor in times of the war is the protection of strategic facilities. Points such as there is a state, production facilities, energy facilities, military production centers must be protected at a high level. Otherwise, these centers become open targets for the enemy. As a result, the state's resources may suffer significant damage. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is approaching its second year. Although there have been important turning points throughout the war is still ongoing. This is why the Ukrainian army is doing everything in its power to dismantle the Russian occupation. Russian military installations, targets, and outposts are under intense attacks. With the support of the United States and European countries, the Ukrainian army has gained effective firepower. The increased firepower of the Ukrainian army has also increased the destructive power of the attacks on the Russian targets. As such as the military has made the efforts to increase the security measures. It turned out that the efforts of the Russian army were insufficient as a result of the attacks by the Ukrainian army in recent days. The details about the attack were quite surprising. It became clear that there was a major security gap in the Russian army. In addition, the Ukrainian army recently carried out an attack on the Russian oil facilities. After the attack, major damage occurred in the facilities. Now, if you're ready, let's examine the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. Recently, a Russian military training ground was hit by the Ukrainian army. After the site was hit, it was revealed that there was a security breach in the Russian military. The news caused a huge uproar and being investigated by the authorities. The Ukrainian army attacked the Russian military training ground east of the Donetsk with HIMARS missiles. After the attack, a group of drone pilots of the Russian army were neutralized. The Russian soldiers training in the area did not expect the Ukrainian attacks. Therefore, they were not worried because they thought that their location was secret. Ukrainian intelligence was aware of the Russian presence in the area. The Ukrainian army was closely monitoring the Russian troops and their training activities. When there was an information that the Russian soldiers who were conducting and continuing training would carry out an attack, Ukrainian intelligence pushed the button for the operation. The Sudoplatov group, which produces and organizes training on behalf of the Russian army, seems to have been the cause of the security breach. The head of the group did not respect the principles of the confidentiality and posted information critical or Ukrainian intelligence. The head of the group did not respect the principles of confidentiality and posted information critical for the Ukrainian intelligence on the internet. Ukrainian military intelligence took action as soon as they received the information. Sudoplatov is a group working on behalf of Russia that says it produces 1,000 drones a day. The drones have been vital for both Russia and Ukraine's war efforts in nearly 2 years' conflict. A statement by the Russian Defense Ministry says that the group was founded in November 2023. The group also serves as a school to train drones operators. According to the figures announced after the Ukrainian army attacked the Russian facility with HIMARS missiles, 20 Russian soldiers were neutralized. It was also reported that many wounded Russian soldiers are still being treated. The fact that official statements have not yet been made may be the indicator of the intelligence wars in the region. Ukrainian intelligence has a serious flows of information. Ukrainian intelligence, which also obtains information from within the Russian army, organizes important attacks on every strategically important target. After the attack organized by the Ukrainian army, the security vulnerability in the Russian army stems from the negligence of Sudoplatov officials. Russian authorities are considering imposing sanctions on the team managing the project. Official investigations are still ongoing. the strategic operations of the Ukrainian army continued unabated. After the drone training facility was hit, another attack was organized against Russia's largest oil facility. The images posted on social media were watched by thousands of people in a short time. The video showed a large fire engulfed in large oil refinery belonging to the Rosneft in the southern Russia town of the Tauputs in the Black Sea coast in the early hours of the morning. No official statements had been made about the cause of the fire. According to the information from local sources, the fire broke out in the facilities as a result of the Ukrainian drone strikes. Eyewitnesses reported hearing explosions in the area before the fire, and the drone hit the refinery's vacuum unit after the midnight local time. Of a fire that started in the facilities could not be brought under the control after a long effort. Teams responding to the fire included 99 firefighters and 31 equipment units. The facility in the Krasnodar Krai is the only Russian oil facility on the Black Sea coast. It produces more than 180,000 barrels of the crude oil per day in the first semester of the new year, accounting for more than 3% of the Russia's total crude processing volume. The latest attack was the first attack on the Russian oil and the gas infrastructure over the past week. The Ukrainian military has launched a significant series of drone strikes in the recent days. These strikes targeted the Petropavlovsk oil terminal. The facility is located about 620 miles from the Ukrainian border. This is the first time since the full-scale war in Ukraine began that the drone has started and targeted Leningrad, the hometown of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Experts welcome the fact that the Ukrainian military and the intelligence services have recently stepped up attacks on the strategic targets. The Ukrainian army wants the war to be fought both on the front line and at a strategic level. For this reason, Russia's infrastructure is also being targeted. Attacks on Russia's resources used during the war put of Russia, which is going through the difficult economic times, is an even more difficult situation. The possibility of a bigger attack by the Ukrainian army in the coming days worries Russian officials. How do you interpret the vulnerability in the Russian army? How do you evaluate the work of the Ukrainian intelligence services? How do you think the strategy of the Ukrainian army poses difficulties for the Russian army? How do you interpret the fire at the Russian oil refinery? How do you think the attacks on Russia's infrastructure will affect Russia? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.